everyone. Today we are going to learn a very useful topic in maths and most commonly used in our day-to-day lives. Imagine you play cricket and you played some 3 matches and you scored 10, 20 and 30 runs. Then someone just comes to you and asks, "What's your average score?" How would you tell in one single number what was your overall score? That's what exactly we are going to learn today, the averages. We are going to talk about averages, what averages mean in general terms, and then the various types of averages, that is mode, mean, median, and range. And we'll see how exactly to calculate them step by step. So what are averages? Averages are the values that represent a set of data using a single number. It gives you the most typical or a central value in a group of numbers. Let's take an example. So imagine I ask you this. What were your marks in the last 3 tests? And let's say you say 9, 8 and 7 out of 10. Yeah. Now I want to understand your overall performance, but I just hate to revisit the numbers again and again like 9, 8 and 7. So let's find one number that represents all your marks. How would we do that? And that's where average comes into picture. So average helps you to summarize the data into a single value, and it gives us an idea of the most typical value from the set of data. The common types of averages are mode, mean, median, and range. Let's take a look at each and how to calculate them. So what's a mode? Mode is the most frequent value in a sequence or set of numbers. Average is all talking about the data having multiple numbers into a set or a group and then identifying the common value representing that set. So for mode, let's say an example of sequence having 2, 3, 3, 5 and 7 into it. What does mode means? Identify the most frequent value in a sequence. That is a value or a number which is occurring most often in a sequence. So what's the number here which is most oftenly displayed into this sequence? It's 3, isn't it? Because 3 is there twice in this sequence. Rest of the numbers like 2, 5 and 7 are appearing just once. So the mode of this sequence is 3. Make a note. There can be more than one node in a sequence or a set of data. A set of numbers or sequence which has more than one mode is called as bimodal sequence. Let's take an example, and you have a sequence of 2, 6, 5, 6, 3, 7 and 3 again. Let's identify which are the numbers being repeated or appearing more often. I see here 6 is there twice, and I do have 3 which is also appearing twice. So in this sequence we have 2 modes. That's why this sequence is a bimodal sequence where the mode is going to be 6 and 3. Similarly, sometimes there is no mode at all in a sequence. That is, every number in a sequence appears only once. For example, this sequence. We have each number 3, 8, 5, 2 and 9 appearing only once in the sequence. So there's no mode in this sequence. Let's move to mean. Mean is the most commonly used average in our day-to-day lives whenever it comes to identify what's the average score, what's the average, what is the average marks that you achieved, or in general term when we say okay what is the average, we use mean as the type of average. Mean is actually being calculated by summing up all the values in a sequence divided by the number of values in a sequence or a set of numbers. Let's take an example. So in a sequence, I have the numbers as 4, 6, and 8. To calculate mean, I'm gonna sum all the values, that is 4 plus 6 plus 8, and then I'm going to divide by the number of values in a sequence. So how many numbers are there in a sequence? There are 3 numbers. So for calculating my mean, I would sum all the values and then I would divide it by the number of values in a sequence, which is giving me a calculation of 6 here. Let's take a look at median. As the name suggests, median is the middle value when numbers are arranged in a given order. And the order here is going to be ascending order of the number. So there are 2 steps to identify a median of a given sequence of number or a set of numbers. First is to arrange the numbers in ascending order. This is a must. And then find the middle number. Let's take an example. So in this example, I have a sequence of 3, 2, 7, 5, and 8. Rewrite the sequence in ascending order. It makes it like 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. And now find the middle number. What's the middle number is? That's 5. So the median for this sequence is 5. A median can have 2 type of sequences where the sequence has odd number of values in a set and then even number of values in a set. Assume you have a median to be identified for a set of even numbers. Here are the steps. As usual, first you need to arrange the numbers in ascending order. Find the 2 middle numbers, add the 2 middle numbers, and then divide the sum by 2. Let's take an example. So I have a sequence holding 4 values into it, that is even number of values, which is making me unable to identify a middle number. So what we would do here, we have 2 numbers in the middle, that is 4 and 6. We will add these 2 numbers, 4 plus 6, and then divide it by 2. That's going to give you the median as 5. Let's move towards range. Range shows how spread out the data is. So to identify the range of a sequence, we have to subtract the lowest value in the sequence from the highest value in the sequence. Let's take an example. You have a sequence with values 4, 7, 10, 7, 3, and 8 again. Let's say these are the scores. I need to identify the highest value, that's 10. And then the lowest value is 3. So the range is 10 minus 3, that's equals to 7. So the range of this sequence is 7. Do not confuse this with the mode because the mode of the sequence is also 7. But when we identify the range, we have to subtract the lowest value of the set from the highest value of the set. Here's the comparison of the averages and when to use them. So as I mentioned earlier, mean is going to show you the overall average. So when the data is evenly placed, you can use mean to calculate the average of the set. Median is used when there are extreme values into your sequence holding some outliers. Mode is going to be the most common value, and then when you are looking at the most common values into a big set of numbers or the data, you will be using mode. And range obviously makes you understand the variations or the spread of data into a sequence. Let's take a look at a worked example. So here we have a list of scores of a mathematics test in your class, right? We have few students listed and the scores that they have for the maths test. Let's try to calculate all the averages we learned so far. That's your mean, median, range, and mode. All right. So to start with, let's write down the sequence first. The sequence of scores from my class test. So it's going to be 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and 8. Can you tell me what kind of sequence it is in terms of median? Yeah, it is an even number value median. All right, let's start calculating mean. So what is mean? Mean is the total of all the sequences, right? And then divided by the number of values in the set or a sequence. Let's do the total of 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 and plus 8. It is going to sum up to 43. And then how many numbers are there into the sequence? Let's see. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the number of values in the set are 6. So we are dividing 43 by 6, giving you the mean of 7.1. Let's take a look at the median. Do we have a straight middle value in this sequence? No, we don't, because it's an even number valued sequence. We do not have a middle value here. As there is no middle value, we are going to add the middle two numbers. What are the middle two numbers? 7 and 6. So the addition of 7 and 6 is giving me 13. And then we have to divide the sum by 2. That is 13 divided by 2, giving you 6.5 as the median. Let's move to the mode. What is mode? Mode is the most frequently displayed or appeared number into a sequence. More than one. Do we have? Yeah, we have 8 being displayed twice or appearing twice into this sequence. Thus, the mode of this sequence is 8. As only 8 is scored by 2 students, rest scores are unique. And the last one is range. Range of the sequence of the scores in the maths test. We have to identify the highest number, that is 9, and then the lowest score, that is 5. So we are going to subtract the lowest score from the highest one. That's going to give me the range, which is equals to 4. So the range of this sequence is 4. That's pretty much, guys, for today. Understanding averages. A quick recap for what we have learned is mean, median, and mode and range. Practice this more and test your knowledge. I have a quiz link added onto the description. Hope that helps you. Thanks for watching. Do post your comments and suggestions. Thank you.